For centuries, the world's strongest empires tried to break Greece. Persia marched in, Rome ruled, Italy landed, Germany stormed through. Every one of them thought the fight would be easy. None of them escaped without scars. Today, in 2025, Greece is more than a nation. It is a fortress shaped not by walls, but by mountains, seas, and skies. Over 80% of the land is highland, a natural barrier that swallows armies. More than 6,000 islands slice the Aegean Sea like blades, scattering fleets before they even land. Its coastline is the longest in the entire Mediterranean, a maze where invaders lose time, fuel, and men. Generations of Greeks grew up fearing foreign armies at their gates. But today, for the first time in history, the fear runs the other way. The question is no longer when Greece will fall. The question is, who dares enter this labyrinth? Because in Greece, you don't just face soldiers. You face mountain passes that choke tanks. You face submarines hiding under islands. You face missiles screaming from cliffs while rifles tear the skies apart. And in the next few minutes, you'll see why no general wants to test Greece again. Every invader who steps into Greece meets the same enemy first, the land itself. Greece is shaped like a fortress, locked by mountains and seas on every side. The country holds more than 13,600 kilometers of coastline, longer than France, Spain, or even Italy. Every bay, every island, every narrow inlet can hide ships, submarines, or missile batteries. Inside the land, the Pindus Mountains slice Greece from north to south. These ridges break the country into valleys and narrow passes, leaving no straight road for an army to rush through. Any invader must fight uphill, across twisting paths where tanks crawl and supply trucks stall. History proved this again and again. When Germany invaded in 1941, it expected a quick march. Instead, its panzers slowed to a crawl in the mountain passes. Even the Romans before them found that conquering Greece meant bleeding men on cliffs and ridges, never winning on open ground. For defenders, the same terrain works like a shield. One unit can hold a pass against many. Air defenses hidden in valleys are almost impossible to target. The land itself becomes a silent ally, grinding down even the strongest foes. Greece is not just a country, it is a natural trap. But what turns these mountains from obstacles into true weapons of war? No invader fears Greece's cities first. They fear its mountains. Nearly 80% of the land is covered in highlands and rugged peaks. This means every marching army is slowed, stretched, and broken apart before it even reaches the heart of the country. The mountain passes act like natural choke points. A force of a few hundred soldiers can block thousands. Tanks, artillery, and supply trucks stall on narrow roads that twist like a maze. History left its proof. In 1940, Italy invaded Greece, expecting an easy win. But in the frozen mountains of Epirus, Greek forces crushed them with ambushes and counterattacks. One of Europe's strongest armies was stopped cold by cliffs, snow, and defenders who knew the ground. Even in 1941, when Germany joined the fight, its famous panzers struggled. The passes and ridges turned blitzkrieg into a crawl. Every mile forward meant bleeding men and time. For Greece, the mountains are not just scenery, they are weapons of war. They stretch invading columns, isolate units, and drain an enemy's morale long before they reach a city. The mountains make Greece a fortress from within, where even modern forces risk the same fate as past empires. But Greece's power doesn't stop at the peaks. Its true defense spreads out into the sea. Greece does not float on the sea. The sea itself is part of its defense. Scattered across the Aegean are more than 6,000 islands, with 227 inhabited. Each one is a piece of land that no fleet can sink, no matter how powerful. For the military, these islands act like unsinkable aircraft carriers. A single island base can host radar, missiles, and patrol craft, watching every movement in the water below. The result is a firing grid stretched across the sea. From Crete in the south to Lesbos near Turkey, every approach is covered. Submarines slip between channels, frigates patrol the lanes, and air squadrons leapfrog from one island to another. The Aegean Sea, once a highway for ancient invaders, now works as a trap. An enemy fleet trying to advance must expose itself again and again. Every bay, every narrow strait, is within range of missile fire or torpedo strikes. History has already tested this shield. In World War II, German paratroopers fought bitterly to take Crete in 1941. Even when they won, the cost was so high that Hitler banned major airborne operations for the rest of the war. The islands are not just rocks in the sea. They are weapons, turning Greece into a nation that can control choke points far beyond its mainland. No invader can move freely when every channel is guarded, every wave hides a threat, and every island is a watchtower. But do these defenses only rest on geography, or does history prove they can break great powers? Every empire that marched into Greece left with scars. In 480 BC, at Thermopylae, a few thousand Greeks held a pass against a massive Persian army. The narrow mountain choke point forced the invaders into waves of blood. At the same time, the Battle of Salamis showed how the Aegean islands could turn the tide. Greek triremes, smaller and faster, trapped the Persian fleet in tight waters and smashed it apart. The pattern repeated in modern times. In 1940, Mussolini's Italy invaded from Albania. Italian forces expected a march of glory, but they were stopped cold in the Epirus Mountains, pushed back by smaller Greek forces fighting on home ground. Even when Hitler sent his Wehrmacht in 1941, victory was no triumph. Yes, Germany forced through the defenses, but at a price so high it delayed the Eastern Front campaign, a delay many historians say helped turn the entire war. The lesson is brutal but clear. Greece fights. It may bend, but it bleeds every invader in the process. From the Persians to the Nazis, geography and spirit combined to punish arrogance. The mountains, the islands, and the seas work together, making Greece a battlefield that consumes attackers instead of yielding to them. But what happens when this ancient terrain meets modern jets, missiles, and submarines? Today, Greece's geography is armed with modern firepower. On the coastline, Greece fields Exocet Block 3C missiles, upgraded in 2025. These weapons can strike enemy ships more than 180 kilometers away, turning every bay and island into a launch site. Beneath the water, Greece deploys Type 214 submarines with air-independent propulsion. These silent hunters can stay hidden for weeks, stalking fleets that dare to enter the Aegean. In the skies, Greek pilots fly Rafale jets from France, upgraded F-16 Vipers, and are scheduled to receive F-35 stealth fighters by 2028. Together, they form a shield that stretches from mountain passes to island skies. The Navy is also transforming. The new Caiman-class frigates entering service from 2025 carry state-of-the-art radar and missile systems designed to dominate both sea and air threats. Every branch of the military is now tied to the land's natural defenses. Mountains hide radar and launchers. Islands act as unsinkable bases. Narrow seas give submarines and frigates the advantage. This is not just terrain. It is a modern trap, ready to cut down any force that tries to invade. If you liked our video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel.